global news update on top accolade news. The headlines. UK government launches healthy food strategy to curb obesity. Canada drops digital tax. Ukrainian F-16 pilot killed repelling massive Russian air attack. Israel orders Gaza evacuations. We start with the focus in politics. UK government launches healthy food strategy to curb obesity. The UK government has unveiled a new strategy to tackle rising obesity rates by partnering with supermarkets and food manufacturers to make healthy eating easier and more affordable. Under the plan, food retailers will be encouraged to promote healthier options through loyalty schemes, price promotion, and layout changes, while reporting on sales of nutritious foods. Health Secretary Wes Streeton says this radically different approach aimed to reduce NHS pressure, with research showing small calorie reduction could lift millions out of obesity. However, critics warn that the voluntary scheme may fall short without wider reforms, as unhealthy food remains far cheaper and more accessible. Moving to economy, Canada drops digital tax. Trade negotiations between Canada and the United States have resumed after Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney announced the withdrawal of a proposed digital tax targeting major U.S. tech companies. The decision followed a tense exchange with U.S. President Donald Trump, who had suspended talks on Friday, calling the tax a blatant attack. Carney and Trump spoke on phone on Sunday, agreeing to return to the negotiating table with July 21st deadline set earlier at the G7 summit in Alberta. The controversial tax, which would have imposed a 3% levy on companies like Amazon and Google, sparked strong backlash from Washington. Critics said Carney's move appeared to bow to Trump's pressure, while Canadian officials argue it paves the way for broader trade and security cooperation. Now in conflicts. Ukrainian F-16 pilot killed repelling massive Russian airstrikes. A Ukrainian F-16 fighter pilot has been posthumously named a hero of Ukraine after dying in a crash while downing 7 Russian targets during one of the largest overnight aerial assaults since the war began. President Zelensky praised his heroism as Ukraine reported over 530 drones and missiles launched by Russia, with explosions rocking Kyiv and other cities, leaving at least 12 people injured. The Ukrainian Air Force confirmed the pilot's jet was damaged during combat and he was unable to eject before crashing. As cities reel from the destruction, Zelensky has renewed urgent calls for Patriot missile system and air defense support from the US and allies, warning that Russia's aggression will continue unchecked without stronger protective capabilities. Still in conflicts, Israel orders Gaza evacuations. In Gaza, the Israeli military has issued evacuation orders for part of northern Gaza, including Gaza City, ahead of intensified operations against Hamas, as US President Donald Trump urges a ceasefire and the release of hostages. Residents were told to move towards Al-Mawasi in Khan Yunis, though Palestinian and UN officials insist that no place in Gaza is truly safe. At least 23 people were killed in Israeli strikes on Sunday, including children in airstrikes on tent camps. Meanwhile, ceasefire talks mediated by Egypt, Qatar, and the US are being revived, with Hamas stating its willingness to negotiate only if the war ends and Israel withdraws. You're watching the Global News Update on Top Accolade News. Do stay with us. Still to come. Thanks for staying with us. In crime, 2 firefighters killed in Idaho ambush. In northern Idaho, 2 U.S. firefighters were fatally shot while responding to a wildfire in Canfield Mountain in what authorities suspect may be a deliberate ambush. The county sheriff's office confirmed the discovery of the deceased male with a firearm near the scene, lifting a shelter-in-place order, but warning residents to remain alert as the wildfire continues. Sheriff Bob Norris says the attacker used high-powered rifles from concealed brush-covered positions, leading to initial fears of multiple shooters. Investigators are exploring whether the fire was intentionally set to lure first responders. The FBI and SWAT team remains on site, supporting the investigation, while Idaho Governor Brad Leto condemned the incident as a heinous direct assault on emergency personnel. Still in crime, Australian jury deliberates in deadly mushroom launch trial. In Australia, the jury in a high-profile murder trial of Erin Patterson has retired to deliberate after weeks of emotional testimony and more than 50 witnesses. Patterson denies intentionally poisoning a beef Wellington lunch with deadly death-cap mushrooms, which killed her former in-laws, Don and Gail Patterson, and family members Heather Wilkinson, while a fourth guest survived after a lengthy coma. Prosecutors allege Patterson lied repeatedly to police and family to cover her tracks, while the defense maintains it was a tragic mistake with no motive. The jury will remain in supervised accommodation until a verdict is reached. Moving to entertainment, Vin Diesel says Fast and Furious 11 will release April 2027. Fast and Furious star Vin Diesel has confirmed the Fast and Furious 11 will hit the cinemas in April 2027, marking the franchise's final chapter and the return of beloved character Brian O'Connell, originally played by the late Paul Walker. Speaking at LA's Film Fest car show, Diesel revealed that the film will bring the story back to Los Angeles, will focus on street racing and reunite Dom and Brian, sparking both excitement and debate among fans.
Just yesterday, I was with Universal Studios. Does anyone know Universal Studios? The studio said to me, Vin, can we please have the finale of Fast and Furious April 2027? I said under 3 conditions. The first is to bring the franchise back to LA. The second thing was to return to the car culture, to the street racing. Oh, this is good. You want to know what the third thing was? The third thing was reuniting Dom and Brian O'Connor. That is what you're going to get in the finale.
While Walker passed away in 2013, his character last appeared in Furious 7 with the help of his brothers and digital effects. How filmmakers plan to revive Brian this time remains unclear. Moving to sports, LeBron James to break NBA longevity record. LeBron James is set to make NBA history by becoming the first player to compete in 23 seasons as the 40-year-old superstar opts into a $52.6 million player option to return to the Los Angeles Lakers for the 2025-2026 season. The league's all-time leading scorer, James, continues to defy age, averaging 24.4 points, 7.8 rebounds, and 8.2 assists last season. While it is unclear if he'll play beyond this year, his agent says he remains focused on chasing another championship. The Lakers, balancing future development with current competitiveness, remains central to James' legendary career. That concludes our global news updates for today. Stay tuned for more global news and developments. Thanks for joining us. I am Ojoromi Okocha. Connect and engage with us on all our social media handles. Do have a wonderful day.